I'm here with Mental Health Chats, and we've got the lovely Iain McVicar here from Albert Goodman. Hello, Iain. How are you?
Good morning, Claire. Yeah, I'm really good, thanks.
And Iain is a real specialist here. We're going to find out why in a minute. And he's going to be talking about, is staff turnover actually eating away your profits? So we want to know why you're such a specialist. So tell us about your expertise, Iain.
Well, I suppose I originally grew up on the west coast of Scotland, and I started life wanting to become a farmer, and I trained
Oh,
and spent a lot of time working on farms. Then, at the age of 26, I changed careers, and I trained with a national firm as an accountant. And
oh,
then I moved to Albert Goodman, who are a regional firm in the southwest. And I've been an accountant within the Farms and Estates Department for more than 20 years. And for the last 2 years,
wow.
I manage the accountancy business.
Wow. And can I ask you how you got from Scotland down to the southwest? Because you're in the
Um,
southwest.
yeah, I did a postgraduate diploma in advanced agricultural business management, and
Oh,
one of the places to do it was in Devon. And Devon's a beautiful
oh.
county, and I came down, and someone gave me a pint of warm beer, and I thought I'd stay for a year.
Oh, good on you. So you stayed a little bit longer. And funnily enough, I was always going to marry a farmer. Isn't that funny? And I haven't ended up marrying a farmer. So both of us haven't done what we thought we were going to do.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny where life takes you, isn't it?
It
So,
is funny where life takes you. So the REC have done a recent study where it costs 2.5 times someone's salary to actually replace them. So what I want you to describe to us, and I know, Iain, you've got a very lengthy answer here, is what are the hidden costs? It's not just recruitment costs, there are many other costs as well, aren't there?
yeah, there are, and as you say, there are recruitment costs, and most businesses of any size have an HR department, and you know that they deal with people,
Mm.
and there's time interviewing people and onboarding new people. But not only is that our HR cost, that's also managers within the business who are having to recruit people for their departments, or maybe owners of the business who are having to recruit more senior people.
Mm.
And not only that, when you get a new person in, they need to spend quite a lot of time understanding your business, learning your systems. They need to learn your ways. And from that perspective, you will get a productivity drop
Yeah.
right at the beginning. And yes, people do learn quickly, but it does just take time for people to sort of get into your ways and actually for their productivity to be maximized. Um,
Yeah.
in addition to that, I was just going to say that you also have some costs of those those people that are that are tasked, if you like, with managing them because they need to learn how those people work. They need to mentor
Yeah.
them and bring them in as well. So there's a lot of associated, mainly people costs, I would say, but also productivity.
Yeah, definitely. And you've said a few really important things there, and one of them is getting them up, getting them up to speed so that they can actually do the work. That's a cost, and that's a huge hidden cost that so many people aren't aware of. So would you like to describe that a little bit more?
Yeah, I think you certainly. I mean, even with us in the accountancy world, if we bring in someone new, it will take them 2 or 3 months to learn your systems and learn
Yeah.
your ways of working.
Mm.
And from that perspective, you very definitely get that drop in productivity, and you'll definitely get that in any business. So
Yeah.
year one, if you like, you've got the first quarter where there is a very definite learning curve happening. And even through
Mm.
quarters two, quarters three, probably quarter four, people will get better and better at their job. So it does, and it generally does just take some time.
It does, and it's the drop in productivity, and that's the real hidden cost that so many people aren't aware of. And with these huge replacement costs, then we've got to consider our profit. So it's huge, really. And you're all about balance sheets and profit and loss, etc., Iain. So can you explain to us what happens to profits? How does this impact profits for a company?
Oh, absolutely. If you're a business and you've got a certain level of fixed overheads, if your turnover and your margin drop, or they're not as great as they would have been because you've had to replace someone, then that just goes straight down to the bottom line because your fixed costs don't change. So if you've got a say a £30,000 loss of productivity, that will go straight through down onto a £30,000 reduction in a business's profits.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that can be huge, especially if you've got high staff turnover. It's not just going to be one person, it can become a domino effect, and it can end up being quite a few people over time, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. And it's I work in an industry where I think last year the average accountancy firm turned over somewhere in the region of 20 to 25% of its people. And that's enormous. If you're bringing a quarter of your people in every year, and you're having to bring them up to speed with regard to productivity, and other businesses can be similar. So the lower that you can keep that figure, by far the better you are with regard to productivity, and also your people's satisfaction within your people, if you see what I mean, in terms of their own job satisfaction, and the fact that they're doing a good job and being treated well for doing it.
Being treated well, and their frustration when somebody else leaves. So, with that frustration could become absenteeism and illness, etc. So it's not just the person you're replacing, it could affect everybody else as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's unsettling on a team, isn't it? When you bring new people in. It's not to say that you don't want any turnover, because occasionally some turnover of people can be a good thing, but there's certainly an optimum point.
Yes.
As it were.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to give you an example of organization that came to me recently to get my help, actually, because I do help with the culture of the company, etc., for the staff turnover. And this organization had 100 employees, and in 6 months they had 10 people leave. So it was a bit of the domino effect, hugely. So you being the numbers person, Iain, can you explain how that would have affected their profits?
Yeah, I mean, without looking too closely at the numbers, I mean, if you've got 10 people going out of 100 in 6 months, that's a 20% turnover of your people. So for me, if you said that the first quarter, their productivity is going to be quite low, and the second and third quarter is increasing, you're probably going to lose 5% of your total turnover. And again, as I said, that is likely to fall straight down to the bottom line. So if you had a business that was making a profit margin of 10%, it could easily drop to 5% during that period, simply because of that lost productivity, and other people being distracted because they're having to help the new people learn the systems and learn their ways. So it is absolutely massive, and it does pay for businesses to concentrate on how well they treat their people, to make sure that turnover of people is kept more modest.
Yeah, definitely. And, it does go back to the people who are left there and the impact on the people who have left there. Are they still performing as well? Because they've got all those pressures as well.
Well, they do. And what might happen is that the other people are actually having to fill that gap and work harder to fill the gap and to fill that productivity gap, which again causes issues. It might be okay in the short term, but you can't do that in the long term, because otherwise you will, you exacerbate the situation, don't you? You have more turnover.
More turnover, you get the burnout, and then you get other people being ill because of having burnt out and feeling the pressure, etc. So definitely.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. You've given us so many insights, Iain. Thank you so much for your time. There's probably a lot of people out there who would love to meet you and chat to you a little bit in more detail about their facts and figures, etc., and Albert Goodman and what you do at Albert Goodman. So where can people actually find you, Iain?
Yeah, well, our website is albertgoodman.co.uk. On the website, we're all there, so my contact details are on there. So if anyone wants to get in touch, I'm more than happy to either have a chat or correspond.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your insights and your knowledge and your time. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Claire.